So every time I did an IB exam, I always did this one unorthodox technique to keep myself from burning out during the 2 hours I would sit in the exam hall. Originally, I did this unconsciously with just regular class tests throughout the program. But towards the end, I kind of realized what I was doing and I saw that it was helping me in my exam. So I kind of refined it to a more effective technique, so to speak. So there's a lot of research into attention span and effective concentration. Without going too specific on the details, one idea that has been gaining a lot of traction is the idea of taking short breaks between high intensity work intervals. So, if any of you have ever heard of the Pomodoro technique, it's kind of the same principle. In this technique, which is extremely popular by the way, you hear of celebrities, business people, high VIPs using this technique every day for productivity. Anyway, in this technique, people concentrate on just one activity for 25 minutes with a lot of focus, alright, maximum focus, and then they take a break for 5 minutes. And then again, they do another highly focused 25 minutes, and again, a break for 5 minutes. And they keep on doing this cycle, so to speak. And I'm not going to describe the whole process here because this video isn't about that, but it's essentially the same principle. If you concentrate on one activity with extreme focus for a long amount of time, if you do that too long, you'll burn out and you lose effective concentration. It's almost as if the brain needs a mental break. Not a long one, but just a slight one, just to breathe, just to catch its breath. The important thing is that during your break, you literally don't think about what you're trying to accomplish. You disconnect and think about literally anything you want. This exam tip is essentially based off the same principle of disconnecting from your work for a very small amount of time. If you want to know the science behind it, I recommend searching up vigilance decrement and ultradian rhythms online. Now, have any of you ever in an exam written 2 or 3 paragraphs non-stop? Your hand gets tired, your hand gets cramped up, you're not exhausted, but you feel kind of bogged down with the exam, you're bogged down with the work. And you can power through, but you just feel like your mental pace has just slightly dropped. Now, often to many of us, when this happens, we do two things, right? We might keep on going, or we might take a really small break. Now, many of us, if we do the latter in the form of putting our pen down, stretching our hands, and just looking around, which is what I did, we find that even 30 to 45 seconds of doing this, we can come back to the exam almost refreshed. Like that slight break can just give us enough of downtime to give our brain to catch a breath. But here's the thing, and this is something that I kind of figured out, it wouldn't always work. It only worked in one type of situation. Okay, let's say I completed a hard maths question, right? Something, that took a lot of energy out of me. 15 or 25 minutes of intense focus, right? Whenever I took a small mental break after doing something like this, I wouldn't worry about the exam so much because, most of the hard questions are done. I already know my way around the exam and I'm just taking a small break just to kind of give myself a chance to, just a chance to relax. I wouldn't think about my exam at all during the break because I wouldn't be worried. So I'd stretch, I'd look around the room, see what's what, and start the test again with a lot more energy. However, if supposing I was in the middle of a hard question or I couldn't figure out, what to write in my essay and I'm just getting stressed, that would really get me worried. So even if I took a small break, even if I took a full minute off, I'd still be thinking about my exam during that time. I may not be writing physically, but mentally I haven't checked out, I haven't disconnected, and I haven't truly gotten a break. So whenever I came back to the exam, that'd almost be no effect on my energy. And I'd probably come back more worried than before because I just wasted a minute of my exam. So really, the difference between the two cases was just pure mental disconnection. Okay, even a 15 to 25 second break, you can feel really refreshed and it can really prevent you from tiring out. However, that only works if you take a full mental break. And when I kind of realized this, I started doing this in my exams. And what I did was I took a 1 minute pure mental break for my exam, regardless of what situation I was in. Whether I was stressed, whether I was happy during my exam, 1 minute totally off, right? And now 1 minute seems to be a lot of time of doing nothing, right? Especially during an IB exam. But it's gonna make you more effective for the next 25 minutes of your exam. And I remember in my final IB literature exam, right? I was sitting in the room, I finished writing like 600 words, my hand was tired, I was tired, I just felt exhausted. I had a decent idea of what to write, but my pace decreased. The sentences just weren't coming out. So what I did, realizing that mental breaks work, is I took a full break of exactly 1 minute. I put my pen down, looked around the room, and just relaxed. And let me tell you, it was so surreal realizing that I'm in an IB exam, not doing anything, and I'm the guy, the idiot who's looking around the room and seeing everyone's faces. And honestly, it was pretty fun. I remember thinking about how one girl looked so confused. One person had this blank expression, and I, like the little fool I was, just enjoying myself for that one stupid minute. I'd stretch, relax, and literally just say to myself that I didn't have to write anything in my test for that minute. But once that break was up, boom, I was full on exam mode. And honestly, that downtime made a huge difference, and you can feel this difference. So this exam tip can work wonders. But you shouldn't be taking breaks anytime you want, especially not breaks during high periods of concentration, because let's say you're doing this math problem, you're really conquering it. You don't want to break that concentration at those effective moments. Honestly, there are 2 times you should try to use this break. When you just finished doing a lot of work and you want to take a slight break, and you're not worried about your exam, so it's easy to enjoy in your time off. The second instance is a bit more interesting. Have any of you gotten so stressed during an exam where you're not even thinking about answering the question? Rather, you're just so tense, you're so wrapped up in your head about how hard this exam is, and that you're not going to do well in it, that you're not even answering the question. You're just wasting time by thinking like this, and it's making you more stressed by thinking that way. So why not, since you're wasting time anyway, you're not answering the question, you're just worried about how you're going to do bad in the exam, replace that time with 1 minute of total disconnect. Think about anything you want. Think about TGI Fridays, anything that can take the edge off. Anyway, the point of the break is that it will give your brain a chance to calm down, so you approach the paper with a calmer, more relaxed, and more open attitude that will hopefully result in a better test overall. Okay, so many of you are probably hesitant to try this, right? And with good reason, because I'm this random guy on YouTube telling you to daydream about TGI Fridays on your exam. So, I'm uploading this in August. IB exams are still a long way out. Mostly, any form of test that you're going to do is in the form of a class test or just a mock exam. And this is a good time to try and see if this technique works for you, because the stakes aren't really that high. So, you're going to be in a position to experiment. Also, don't take too many breaks. 1 break is usually good, 2 breaks max. If you're taking 3, 4, 5 breaks, well, you do you. Anyway, hope that helped. If this exam tip works for you, let me know in the comments or email me. I'd be really happy to find out that you guys could benefit from it. Anyway, let me know if you have any questions. Have fun. Take care.